All right. Hey there, y'all. Welcome. Today, my guest is Sharon Bellamy. She is English and lives in the UK, but is coming to us tonight from Germany. So,
Mm,
welcome, Sharon.
hello.
And Sharon is with us because I've been watching her progress remotely via Facebook. She's lost a bunch of weight. And so I wanted to know, what did she do? How did she do it? Give us all your secrets. So let's first start with how much weight did you lose?
I have lost so far, because I'm still losing it, 43.5 pounds.
I'm so glad that you did that in
I did it in
freedom
pounds
weight.
specifically, not in us English weight.
Yeah,
Because
because
it
as soon as
confuses
I asked that, I was like, oh, she's going to tell us in like
stones and
stones
pebbles.
and kibbles or whatever you guys
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, yeah. No.
Pence and shillings. And I'm not going to know how to translate it off the top of my head. But all right, 43 pounds. So that is a heck of a lot of weight. So tell us all your secrets. What did you do?
Um, well, I spoke to you first, actually, which kind of kickstarted me into action because I've been trying to lose weight for ages. When I say ages, I mean about 12 years.
Yeah, right. Like all the
And
rest of us.
whatever I do, I always seem to lose one or two. I lose a few pounds, and then I'll put a couple back on, and then I lose another couple of pounds, and then I'll put another one back on, and I seem to or I'll lose like 14 pounds, and then next month I've put half of it back on, and it was just literally yo 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 the whole time, and I couldn't get over losing any more than about 14 or 15 pounds.
Interesting. So what in our, and I'll like full disclosure, Sharon is not a client. I'm not trying to take credit for this success. She did this without me, but I love that our conversation kind of helped get the ball rolling. So,
Yes.
what was it about that conversation that helped you break out of the
Oh
pattern?
my God, it was the whole cleaning your plate thing that is from us growing up because we're not dissimilar age. I'm a little bit older than you, but the whole you have to clean your plate. Food, if you waste food, it's bad. That kind
Right.
of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really got to me, and that then made me think about my relationship with food and how I'm how I deal with it.
Yeah. We
Um,
have all of these rules about
yeah,
food, which, in theory is fine. I'm not a big fan of wasting anything, including
yeah,
food. But like if it's that or your health,
yeah,
what's the
exactly.
priority, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
what's
so
your
that was the first
relationship
thing.
with food? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So my whole relationship with food about because I'm an all or nothing person. So
Ah,
and my downfall is candy, but not chocolate, not sweet stuff. It's gummies, it's Haribo's, it's Swedish fish, it's those kind of things.
okay. And I
Which
made that horrified face because for me it's candy, but it's not like mine's right and yours is wrong.
no,
I was just
yeah,
like, no, but it should be chocolate.
it's not chocolate. Yeah, I'm weird. I don't like things that are too chocolatey, and I don't
Well,
like
it's
ice
okay.
cream, which makes me a freak, apparently, according to
Yeah,
my
more
friends.
for the rest of us.
Yeah, that's exactly what they say. But yeah, so if I opened a bag of Haribo's or a bag of Swedish fish, not a little bag, the family size massive bags, I would
Yeah.
quite happily eat those in 24 hours.
Oh my gosh. If you
Yeah.
really want a good laugh, I think this is still out there. Go on Amazon and search for, I think it's the sugar-free Haribo, maybe bears. Have you seen this?
No.
So for some, and this is like Haribo lawyers don't come after me, but for some people, some sugar substitutes can cause gastrointestinal distress. And apparently, some people had that experience, and the reviews don't Google it if you're
Oh,
easily offended, but they're,
I'm
if
gonna
you
go and
have
look at
like a
that.
12-year-old boy sense of humor, which you and I both do,
Yep.
it's pretty funny.
Oh, cool.
So, but for you, once you open them,
Yeah.
it was like, so what was
Cookies
the
is the
thinking?
same.
Was it mindless eating in front of the TV, or was it, well, now I've started, I might as well get rid of
Now I've
them?
started, I might as well get rid of them. That kind of stuff.
Ah,
And it
because
was
once they're gone, you'll never have them again.
yeah,
LOL.
which we both know is rubbish because the first thing you do is go and buy another bag.
Oh, I'll just have a few out of this bag. I'll be a
Yeah.
different person with this bag.
Yeah, but now on my current kind of eating plan, if I want to treat myself, and I use
Yeah.
the word treat in Dr. Evil quotes,
Yes.
if I want to treat myself, I can have a massive 12 Swedish fish. I mean, we can't get Swedish fish in the UK, so I buy them when I'm in the States. And I have to buy them in bulk, so I have a lot and to make them last till the next time I go. And before, I would just like devour the bags. Now I can take 12 of the mini Swedish fish out, and that's enough. And that will satisfy me. And I sometimes don't have any for 2 weeks.
What?
I
What
know,
is this witchcraft?
I
How are
know.
you doing that?
It's just literally, I've gone, do you know what? I don't need them. It's like the same with chips, the same with cookies. I can live without them.
Chips meaning French fries or chips
No,
meaning
chips meaning crisps,
oh, you
like,
you
proper
pre-translated
chips.
that
Yeah, I
for the
pre-translated that for
Americans.
you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so you've just kind of decided with all those little snacky things, like I don't really need that
I don't
many.
need them.
You
No.
just
And
decided.
yeah. Well, I kind of like, if I'm gonna do this, I know what my downfall is. And I know that if I'm serious about losing weight, I've got to change how I think about food completely. And I have. And it's weird because when I think about all the stuff that I used to eat and stuff that I used to think was healthy and I know is now horrifically bad for me. Um, Whereas if I want something sweet now, I'll have some grapes or an apple or some mango. Whereas before, I'd go and get a handful of Haribo's.
And it's like, right, like how do you because I know what you're talking about. With my clients, I talk about this as like the downward cycle and the upward
Hmm.
cycle. And the hardest part is stopping the
Yeah,
downward cycle, transitioning. Once you get over here, it's kind of like a cult. I don't know how it works. But once your brain switches over, I think some of it is your palate resets. So you start to notice, like, oh God, a Coca-Cola is like, I
oh,
mostly drink water now. And that's what I'm used to. And a Coca-Cola is like,
yeah, I
it's like
can't.
really super sweet. Not that, there's not, obviously, chocolate still speaks to me, but there's just a lot of that stuff that you're just like, and like if you could go back in time and tell this version of Sharon, like, oh, you're going to really enjoy snacking on grapes, she would not believe you, right?
She'd think you're a psychopath and that you've been on some kind of mind-altering drug. Seriously.
So that actually leads us to a question that might be on a lot of people's minds because I don't think just in the US, this has really been in the news, is there are all these new medications, GLP-1s, that people are having big thoughts and big feelings about. So if I were watching this and I'm like, oh, okay, she magically thinks grapes are good, she must be on medication. So
No way.
no, you're not taking
No,
anything?
no, it's really hard to get that stuff in the UK.
Tell us a little more about that.
It's expensive. You have to pay for it privately. Obviously, our healthcare is completely different to yours. Um,
That's a whole other podcast
yeah,
or
we won't even go there.
yeah,
But
Zoom call.
if you want to pay privately to have a weight loss drug, you can, but they won't give it to you unless you pass a specific series of tests and things like that. And even then, they really don't want to give people weight loss drugs. They'd rather you do it yourself. But some people just really struggle, and I think they need a kickstart.
Yeah, yeah. Right. And I can argue pros and cons both ways on that. I do think a lot of people are looking at it like it's magic. And I
Yeah, it's the
don't
magic bullet.
know. Yeah, I don't know. Like it doesn't agree with everybody. And
No.
even if it does, there's a lot of pushback from the insurance companies over here. And
Oh
it's
yeah, of
tricky,
course.
right? Because on the one hand, they're like, you need to lose weight because it causes all of these expensive conditions. And then they come up with an expensive medication that helps you lose weight. And the insurance is like, well, we don't want to pay for that either.
Yeah. So
Right?
what do you do?
Yeah. Even in the US, not everybody reacts the same way to it. Not everybody has equal access to it. I've had some clients that have had access to it for a while and then the insurance takes it away or their job swaps insurances and it's no longer available. So it's super tricky and it's super complicated. And I'm not mad, right? If somebody, I think there's a lot of people, whether it's physical, psychological, there are a lot of people that have kind of given up and they need
Yeah.
something as a jump start. And I think it can be that.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's a complicated issue. So if you didn't do that, you didn't just take a magic medication, what did
No.
you do?
Um, I I started the Slimming World class in the UK just mainly for support, which I never thought that I'd do because I'm one of the, you know me, I'm one of these people that's fiercely independent. It's like, I don't need someone to help me lose weight. If I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do it myself. No, epically failed. Um, Having just physically going to a class every week has kind of given me more reason to do it, because if I don't do it, not only am I letting myself down, I'm letting all the other people down in my group
Isn't that
because we're all
interesting?
there to support each other. And I thought, me of all people, thought that I really would not be able to, that was not my thing. But strangely enough, I've discovered it is.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. So, when we're kids, they call it peer pressure and it's
Yeah.
bad. But when you're a
Yes.
grown-up,
Fair
it's
enough.
called accountability and it's good.
Yes. And it's good. Yeah. Exactly. And it's strange because it's not like I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. It's a waste of money. It's blah, blah, blah. But it's not like a diet. It's more like a support program. And, I can eat pretty much whatever I like. I just need to eat it in moderation. If I want to eat filth, as I like to call it, I can do that. But I can't just do it like I used to. I
Right.
have to be mindful about what I eat. And my diet has changed a lot. I mean, I eat a lot more vegetables and fruit now than I ever did before,
Yep, yep.
which is
Um,
good because I love vegetables and fruit. I just didn't used to eat them as much and when I should do because I'd be eating all the other
right.
bad stuff. Yeah.
That makes sense. So I don't think we have Slimming World in the US. If we do, like I haven't come across it. So
It's kind of similar to Weight Watchers,
that's
but
what I was
Weight
going to
Watchers
ask. Yeah.
do a lot more food product and things, and the
Yeah.
diet, the eating plan is different.
Okay.
So they're similar but very different.
The same, only
Yeah,
different.
they're the same but different. Yeah,
That clears it right up.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. And again, right? Like, I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody, anything that has worked for anyone. And I know
No, it
a lot
doesn't
of
work for
people,
everybody.
exactly. A lot of people have had success with Weight Watchers. But what I find curious is that, like, it works while you're, which I guess to
Doing it.
some degree is true with everything. Yeah. But it doesn't seem, sometimes it does. I have heard some people who say, oh, yeah. When I was on Weight Watchers, I just got used to having X for breakfast and Y for lunch, and that kind of became my new normal. And I stopped tracking, but I still usually have that, and I kind of know what a reasonable portion is. So some people, it does make like a permanent shift, but a lot of people, it's like when I'm doing it, it works. When I'm not doing it, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I do have a little bit of a, like, I think it's a little morally, I don't know. I don't want to come out too strong because like, I will occasionally eat processed foods and also best case scenario, I think all the science is showing whole foods tend to be better for us. So I'm not like
Mm.
a purist. I don't do everything perfectly all the time. And I think it's a little bit of like, would I rather somebody eat Weight Watchers cake than like, get fat ink cake? Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, at some point, we just kind of need to make peace with the fact that cake is probably not an everyday food.
No, exactly.
Right? Like I had a client who used to, um, she lived at this, it wasn't assisted living, but it was like a country club and you could go to like the restaurant and so they would go out almost every day for lunch and for dinner and they had one of those soft serve ice cream machines and she'd gotten in the
Ooh.
habit of having ice cream every day after lunch and after dinner. And even if you're doing like low fat or Weight Watchers or whatever, at a certain point, like That's probably just not a great life
No,
choice.
not every day. Not twice a day, every day.
Right, exactly. Like I think we've zeroed in on the problem. So yeah, the fact that they are kind of double, and again, right, like I'm not a purist. It's not always bad or wrong. And also, right, like if you're gonna eat it's kind of like the protein bars. Like it's a candy bar with protein and vitamins and minerals. If you're gonna eat a candy bar, I'd rather you eat one with protein and vitamins and minerals. And also, let's not fool ourselves.
No, it's still
Right?
a
Like
candy bar.
it's still a candy bar. It might
Yeah,
be the best candy bar on the market, but and there might be times when, right, you're running out the door, you got to grab something for breakfast. That might be the best option available. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad about it, but we just need, right, like at the end of the day, a banana is probably still a better choice than the best candy
yeah,
bar.
exactly.
All right, so Slimming World. So you said they don't really do the packaged foods like Weight
They
Watchers
do
has
no,
done.
they do some meals like lunchtime, sort of like ready meals and things, but
Okay.
they it tends to be a lot more on lifestyle change and what you eat.
Nice.
They're very big on recipe books to show you how to make healthy food, which
Hmm.
is good, which I have a number of, and it's got some quite good recipes in it.
Gotcha. Okay, and now you cooked. I've been to your house and you
Yeah,
cooked. I saw it.
I do cook. Yeah, I do. I make food pretty much every day.
Okay, so you've always been someone who cooked. So
Yeah,
that wasn't a change for you. It was just what
no,
you were cooking was the change.
it is. And I do not really have any kind of takeout anymore because before, maybe once a month, maybe twice a month. Sometimes on a bad month, it'd be every week. I would have a takeout. So I
Yeah.
would have either have an Indian or a Chinese or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore. If I want something like that, I'll make it at home.
Ah, okay. And what is the main difference between the kind of recipes you're cooking now versus what you were cooking before?
They've got a lot more vegetables in.
Mm.
And I always buy the lowest fat meat that I can.
Ah,
So
yeah.
that's a big change as well. So I've
Yeah.
rather than buying like the cheap, not necessarily cheap, but rather than buying the cheaper
Yeah.
meat that's has got slightly more fat in it, I now pay a bit more and go for the lower fat option. But then I don't eat as much. So I'm finding because I don't eat as much as I do, that I'll get twice as much out of a smaller portion of meat than I would do out of a bigger portion.
Yeah, I had a client who was like mind blown because and the
Yeah.
restaurant portions in the UK are different than the one you've been over here. We have a
Yeah,
situation
I
with
know what your
restaurants in
portions
the
are like.
US. And
Yeah.
I
I
do
always have
think,
kids size when I
yeah,
come
yeah,
into
I
the
do
US now.
think some of the portion sizes got smaller after COVID, but also there was some pushback. So I don't know, like I'm in kind of a little bubble here. I've not been out and about in the US, so I don't know like where that all landed. But I had a client who kind of figured out, like we just talked about, like, it's a lot of places it's twice what you need. So just take
Yeah.
half home. And she was like, oh my God, like, because she was going out to lunch almost or out to dinner almost every night. And then she would have to buy and fix her lunch. And oh my God, I don't have time for lunch. So she kind of realized like she could just take half home and that would be her lunch the next day.
Lunch the
She's
next
like,
day. Yeah.
I'm actually buying less food and it's costing me less money. Like her, again, different people have different experience, but for her, the total amount she was spending on food went down. The total amount of food she was eating went down, but it was a lot like you can never go to a restaurant again. So,
Yeah,
all
exactly.
right. Yeah. So, Slimming World, do you know, like, are they based out of London? Do you know anything about where they're from and where they're located?
I don't know, to be honest. I know they've been going for over 20 years. They've been going for a long time, and it's not just based in the UK. I do think they are in the US, but I'm not sure where.
Gotcha.
But they're in different places about in Europe as well. And the thing that I really like about it is when you hit your target weight or the weight that you decided that you wanna hit, if you stay within 3 pounds either side of your target healthy weight, you're a lifetime member. You don't have to pay a subscription. You don't have to you don't have to do anything. You just turn up to group every week, get weighed, and you're a lifetime member however long you are at your healthy best.
Nice, nice. And so
Mm.
that, I guess, then you're there kind of to help.
Yeah,
inspire and encourage everybody else. And
exactly.
also it helps keep you on track because
Yeah.
he's looking.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's a lot of ladies, and it does tend to be ladies. We do have some guys in our group, but it's the ladies that have been members for a long time, and they say that every time they stop coming to group, when they hit their target weight, they'll come for a little while, and then they stop coming, and then they put it all back on again because they don't have that, not peer pressure, but they don't have that support from other people. And
Yeah.
it does tend to be the women that do that. The men that lose weight, it stays off them. Don't
Yeah.
know why. Different mindset, different the ways our bodies work.
Yeah. They also tend to lose it a lot faster, which is really
They do.
irritating.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
But we're not supposed to stab them.
No.
All
Yeah.
right. So, tacky question, which you do not have to answer. But a lot of the clients that I work with are around our age, and there's a lot
Yep.
of drama about perimenopause, menopause. So,
Yep.
will you tell the people how old you are? Is that
I'm
something?
54 and a bit now.
54 and a bit.
Yeah, I was 54 in December. So I'm
54
54 in a little bit. Yeah.
and a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yes. So how has that, because I hear a lot of people that say, well, when you're in perimenopause, when you hit menopause, you just can't lose weight. And you've done
It,
this. When did you start?
I started losing weight in May last year. So I've been at it nearly a year.
Nearly a year. So it's about a pound
Mm,
a week, which is again what,
yeah.
like, if you do research, that's kind of what everybody says is like safe, healthy, realistic, sustainable,
Yes.
about a
Yeah.
pound a
So,
week.
I mean, there has been weeks where I've put some on, and then there's been weeks where I haven't done any, or where I've stayed static. And there's been other weeks that I've lost like 4 or 5 pounds, and I've done nothing different. I mean, the weeks that I put on was when I was at Disney World for 2 weeks. So, of course, I'm going to put on weight, but not a lot because we
Yeah.
walked 120 miles or whatever it is,
Right.
140
Yeah.
miles. So, um, but yeah, so I think it's a reasonable amount. 1 or 2 pounds a week is enough.
Yeah.
There's no rush. It's got to be slow and steady because otherwise it doesn't stay off.
It's so
These
true.
people that rush and like the weight drops off. I think even if you take some kind of drug to get you kick started, if you don't have a mindset change and you don't change your eating habits, it doesn't matter what you do. As soon as you stop whatever you're doing, it's going to go back on.
Yeah, I totally agree. So do you feel like, and again, we're getting really up in your business, so don't answer anything like that. But do you feel like, did you notice a change?
Definitely.
Or menopause? Tell
Yeah.
us about that.
Oh my God. So when I stopped my pre-menopause started quite early, so it was like mid 40s.
Hmm.
Um, I noticed then like I said, I've been trying to lose this weight for about 10 years, and until sort of like the beginning of last year, nothing I did, just nothing shifted it. I don't know
Yeah,
what it was. I don't know whether it was a combination of my body, my mind, what I was doing. It's almost as though something fell into place and it all just kind of clicked, and then it started to work. And I
yeah.
don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was my body like finally sorting itself out after being all over the place for 10 years. Because I've seemed to have stopped being a 40-year-old teenage, 50-year-old teenager again. My hormones kind of have all settled down. Nobody tells you that when you get to the menopause, it's like puberty again.
Yes, yes, but without any of like the fun, exciting, sexy stuff.
No,
It's just
no,
like I had like again oversharing
it's
because
bad skin.
nobody would tell us. Yeah, my skin got like I've got makeup on, so hopefully you can't see it. But I got like really bad breakouts,
Yeah,
like moods all over the place. I'm
yeah,
on HRT. Again, different people, different experiences. I'm not a doctor, but for me it made such a difference. It was right around when I turned 50, I went off this sort of like, it, the closest I can come to trying to explain it is I think it was like my body was actually going through withdrawals for
mm,
estrogen because that's what it felt like. It felt like, not that I've detoxed from a drug, but right, like I have a television and an imagination, but that's what it's like. It's like my whole, like inside my body, I just felt so terrible. Um,
Yeah.
and it had been like, again, my emotions and my skin and like things had been up and down for a while, but I really hit a wall. I got on HRT. For me, it really, really helped. But while I was going, like when I hit that wall almost a year ago, I put on 10 pounds and it has not yet come off. But I also did not care because I was like, I am
Yeah, exactly.
dying. And like the only thing that made me feel a tiny bit better literally was chocolate. Now, was that in my head? Was that in my body? Was it
Who
BS?
knows? Yeah.
Is there a difference, right? Um, so yeah, I hear from a lot of women like that mid 40s on, it gets very hard. It can be done, right? I was 46 when I lost 50 pounds, and I did a really great job of keeping it off. Like I said, until a year ago, 10 pounds came back on. So I'm really now trying to gently, again, just because I had gotten also a little sloppy, right? It wasn't just it wasn't just hormones. So trying to really bring in more vegetables, more salads, and trying to kind of get myself back on track. But I do think that that is real and also
Mm.
doesn't necessarily mean it can't be done, right? So, yeah, it's really interesting. So, again, if you could like go back in time and talk to, I don't know, 46-year-old Sharon who was trying to figure this out, we already know
I
she wouldn't believe you. She would think you were in a cult, but
yeah. I
what
don't
would your
think
advice be to her?
I don't know because I seriously don't think I was in the right frame of mind to do it. I think no matter what I would have told myself, I would have argued and said that I know best and carried on. I think I don't know what it was, but at some point in the beginning of the year, sort of around March, April time, it was almost though a wheel had clicked in my head. And the thing that really triggered that I needed to lose weight was I was getting out of my horse box because I've got horses. And I was, and it's quite a big truck. So I was getting out. And as I put my foot down on the floor to step out, I ripped my jeans.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's
Which,
when you're like, okay.
yeah. And I was, I was a cross between finding it hilariously funny and absolutely devastated that I'd ripped my jeans. So, and it wasn't just a little rip, it was a massive, to the point that I had to throw them away. And I was like, I need to do something. I cannot go for the rest of my life being like this. It's got, the weight has got to go. I was so unhappy and I was so fed up. I was like, I need to do something. And if I'm going to do it, I've got to do it properly. So I phoned my friend Gillian, who used to be a Slimming World consultant. And I went, I need to lose weight. I'm like this. And she's like, you need to just give it a try. It may not work for you. If it doesn't work for you, we can try something else, but just try it. So I did.
Yay.
But
Yeah,
that
so
was
you
the
just kind
thing that
of
I
decide
needed.
it was like that,
Yeah. It
line
was
in the
literally
sand.
a switch in my head that went, I need to do it and I've got to do it now on. Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay. So
And the thing is,
yeah, go ahead.
when I look back a 10-year-old photo of me, and I posted one on Facebook not that long ago, and you can see, I mean, I don't think, I feel like I've lost a lot of weight, but visually I didn't realize how different I looked compared to 10 years ago with the amount of weight I've lost.
Yeah. You look younger to me.
I, I feel younger.
And that's encouraging too, right? Because I had another client who said to me one time, she's like, I'm too young to feel this old. And
Yes, exactly.
yeah. And again, right? Like, let's be real. Aging is a thing. We are not in
Yep.
our 20s anymore.
No, despite what my brain tells me.
Yeah, in some ways that's a problem. In some ways that's good,
Yeah, I know.
right? It's exhausting. So yes, I do not have as much energy as I did 30 years ago, but I do have more
No,
energy than I did 5 years ago.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's really an important message for people to hear too. And I had a client one time who told another, that same client said, she's like, so we'd gone through my 4 month program, finished up. She was kind of transitioning out, and we were just doing like little monthly check-ins. Again, that accountability. And she said, yeah, I've been trying to relax a little bit and just, kind of incorporate things back in occasionally. She's like, but I could tell I overdid it the other night because she had had a lot. And again, different things affect different people differently. But for her specifically, she said that she'd had too much sugar the night before. And in the morning, when she got up and she was coming down the stairs, she's like, I had that old lady feeling in my joints. So just,
I
case
feel
study
that.
of
Yeah.
one. But for her, and again, maybe that's BS and it was completely unrelated, but it convinced her in her mind that, oh, sugar makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm done. I'm not going to go back to where I was because, and I do think it's kind of like, in bowling, they have the bumpers for the little kids.
Yep.
I think when you get to our age, it's like the bumpers just come down. You just can't get away with stuff you used to be able
Yeah.
to get away with. And
Exactly.
that's kind of a bummer. But it's also, right, it's also kind of good news because that stuff was never good for us,
No,
right? So, it's kind of like, it's not good to get caught cheating on your math homework. And also, you're not going to learn math if you keep cheating. So,
exactly.
all right. So, any final words of wisdom for anybody that's watching? Any advice?
I don't know really. I think if you're going to do it, once you've made the decision that you want to lose weight and change your lifestyle, and it is a lifestyle change,
Yeah.
but you kind of have to be committed. And I've also discovered that don't beat yourself up if you have a bad day,
Yeah.
because some days I'm like, oh my God, I feel terrible and I need to eat something bad. And then I eat it and then I feel really guilty afterwards, which is great that I feel guilty afterwards. But it's not because I feel awful at the time. I'm like, why did I do that? And then I'm quite hard on myself. And I'm like, you can't be hard on yourself. Just, it's just that tomorrow's different.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's really important is one can easily say, um, well, I screwed up. This approach just isn't working for me. I just can't lose weight. I'm going to
Yeah,
quit and I'm going to go back
exactly.
to what I used to do. Like, well, the only thing we know for sure is not going to work is what you used to
You
do.
used to do. Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
for sure not it. So, like, worst case scenario, of course, everybody wants their result, but worst case scenario, if somebody starts eating more vegetables, eating more fruit, feeling better, and they don't lose weight, yeah, that's disappointing. And also, like, you're getting more vitamins and more minerals and more phytochemicals, and your body has more energy and you feel better. Like, it's still a really good idea, even if it doesn't work,
Yeah.
to eat healthier, to eat closer to nature, to the way we were meant.
I've
And
also found that the older I get, and when I do eat healthy, sometimes I can go 4 or 5 weeks and not lose weight. I can eat the same sort of protein and vegetables and no bad things. And then for 4 or 5 weeks, I don't lose anything. It's just because that's how my body works. And then the next week, I might lose 5 pounds. And I'm eating exactly the same thing as I have done the previous 4 weeks. And
yeah.
it's just literally that it kind of catches up with itself. And it's like, oh, you're eating healthily. Okay.
Oops.
It's weird how the human body works.
Yeah, but that's really important to know too, right? Because sometimes people will say, well, I've done everything right for a month, nothing's
Yeah.
working,
Working.
therefore I should go back to like eating cake for
Exactly.
breakfast. Like, no,
Like, no,
for sure that's not it.
no.
Sometimes it means we need to tighten up our game, right? Because sometimes
Yeah.
people say I've been doing everything right, and really they're not, or maybe they need to clean up a little bit more. But a lot of times it is. This is one of those things that science swears doesn't exist, and yet so many humans have the experience that I'm
Yeah.
like, I think we need to do a little more science. It's called, if you Google it, it's called the whoosh
Yeah.
effect where, again, like I'm doing everything right. It's been a month. I've lost 0 pounds. And then I get on the scale and I lost 4 pounds overnight. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Yeah. And it is a thing. It's
Yeah.
definitely a thing. And
Yeah.
it happens a lot, especially when you're older. I don't know whether
Mm.
it's to do with the menopausal, the way that your metabolism works as you get older, but you can definitely plateau or even like put weight on and off for a few weeks, and then the next week suddenly 4 or 5 pounds drops off straight away.
Yeah. And it can be a lot of things, right? It can be hormones, it can be sodium, right? As if
Yep.
you, again, in the US, a lot of the restaurant meals have a lot of salt, and it's hidden. They don't necessarily taste salty. But right, so somebody goes out to a restaurant, they have a really salty meal, they're retaining a lot of water, and they
Water.
think, I did everything right, I didn't lose any weight. But if you truly did everything right and you keep with it, it
Then
will,
it will.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yay.
And one bad day doesn't mean falling off the wagon.
Exactly. There is no wagon.
Yeah, there
This
is no
is not
wagon.
the Oregon Trail.
No,
You did not
it's
die of dysentery.
it's definitely the whole light bulb moment for me has been it's a change of lifestyle. It's not a diet. You don't go on a diet. You have to change your relationship with food, no matter what you do, whether you do Weight Watchers or Slimming World or whether you do nothing. You have to change your relationship with food. Otherwise, it's never going to work. It's
Yeah.
all up here.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if you want to keep it off forever, you do kind of have to do what you've been doing.
Yeah,
That's the other thing, like nobody
yeah.
mentions.
And yes, you can treat yourself,
Yeah.
to something every now and then. You just can't have it like you can't have McDonald's morning, noon, and night because it's never going to work. Having a
Exactly.
McDonald's breakfast once a month isn't going to kill you.
Right. Exactly.
Eating it every day is.
Yes, for sure. And please also that company.
Yes, I didn't want to pick on McDonald's. It's just the thing that popped into my head. Any fast food, insert here.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so totally true. Um, yeah, and the other thing that I will see with people a lot of times too, and then we need to wrap up because I could talk about this all night, but people
I
won't
know.
all night. But people get exasperated because they're like, well, eggs were good, and then eggs were bad, and then now eggs are good again. I don't know what to eat. I'll just eat cake. Like, okay, but nobody
Nobody says cake is good.
nobody said that that was the answer. So if you're confused about eggs, just set that aside and have like a lovely low-fat yogurt with some fruit. Again, like what does everybody, instead of being like, what are the three things that I'm confused about or that science is confused about? What are the things that everybody agrees on? Everybody is like, water is a good idea. Vegetables are good for you. Fruit for most people is a good idea, unless a doctor has told you, you've
Yeah,
got uncontrolled diabetes and you shouldn't eat fruit or you got some weird allergy, right? Most people, right? Protein. If you're vegetarian, maybe it's beans and rice, maybe it's some chicken breast. But, instead of focusing on the things that people don't agree on, okay, what are the things that everybody agrees on that you definitely know?
and we know that cake for breakfast is not a
Yeah,
good thing.
yeah, exactly. And again, right? If it's your birthday, maybe
Yeah,
even once a week, whatever. I'm not anti-cake, but you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
we
exactly.
kind of know. It's the things that we kind of know we should be doing that we should focus on. So, all right. Well, I know that you're not doing this for a living, so I don't know if you want to give out contact information, but you do have a Disney themed podcast,
I
correct?
do. Yes.
Intermittently, frequently?
Middle Age Magic. Yeah, we
Yes.
do it a lot. Yeah, we do
Yes.
it
So
quite a
if
lot.
people have an interest in Disney, and actually I'm near-ish to Orlando, so a lot of people here spend a lot of time there. Tell the people how they could find that.
Okay, so on YouTube, if you search for Middle Aged Magic, you will find myself and my lovely friend Sam, who is also about the same age and is trying to lose weight. She has complex medical problems, so her thing is, yeah.
There's
And
other stuff.
she does love cake for breakfast as well. She's terrible. Yeah, but you can find us there. And we're also on Instagram and Facebook under the same handle.
Perfect. Anything else you want to throw out, promote, mention?
No, no, I don't think so, really. Other than just it's possible. After me thinking for all this time that it wasn't possible to ever lose weight again, I'm actually surprised myself that I can.
Yay! Congratulations. And you said you are continuing on. So you
Yes,
have some thoughts about what your goal is?
I would like to lose another 14 pounds.
You're getting close then. Very close.
Yeah, yeah. And I know it's not. I know the last bit. is always the hardest. And I know it's not going to come off quickly, but that's fine. As long as I can get to the sort of happy, healthy weight that I want to be and stick around that, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, fantastic. And we all know I've got 10 pounds I need to do something with. So vegetables, water, vegetables.
Protein. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my thing.
Yep.
Protein and vegetables. Chicken and cauliflower and broccoli are my go-to.
I like salad, but part of that's because I'm in Florida and it's hot. And
Yeah.
plus, you can buy the pre-chopped up salads because I don't like to cook. But same idea, right? Definitely
Yeah.
same idea. So if you don't have access to Slimming World because you're not in a country where that's a thing and you'd like to work with me, I do one-on-one weight coaching and accountability via Zoom. And you can get more information on me and on my services on my website, lisaduke.net, or I am on Instagram at lisadukests. I've not been posting out there as much lately, but there's a ton of like back content on the blog on my website that people can check out for free, videos on the YouTube channel, and all sorts of things available to support you for free, or you can hire me. And I'm also a new certified personal trainer. So I'm mostly doing that here in Stuart, Florida with in-person clients, but theoretically I could do that over Zoom. I haven't tried it yet, but people do that. So that is something that is available as well. So thank you, Sharon, for coming on and sharing your tips with us. And thank you to the people out in the internet that might be watching this when it's up on YouTube. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.